Hello guys, one more Banter Blitz show with me this week. So just as usual, let's go and play some games. Hope you can see and hear me. Just let me know in chat. So I'm going to find someone I've never ever played before for first 3 games. Of course, if we will have this 3 challenges coming from guys I've never ever played before. Let's have a look. So 1 game, no games against Industry Spanish. Okay, accept 3 minutes. 3 minutes only. E4, E5. Okay, so I'm just checking if everything is fine on my end. Looks like that, more or less. And bishop to c4, so let's respond with the bishop to c5. That's what I usually play here. Yesterday there was an accident and I played knight to f6, 2 knights defense. That's not what I'm doing nowadays against Italian setup. So I prefer my bishop on c5. So white is trying to play this slow Italian, which is perfectly fine. It's more like real Lopez. We talk about the pawn structures and stuff that's happening there. So what white is doing here, white is delaying this d4 move until after all the pieces are developed and coordinated the right way. d4, alright, so it shouldn't be dangerous. Yes, just take with the knight here. And you have queen d8, king d8, bishop f7, then after rook to f8. We should regain the material with the help of knight to g4 jump, right? So f2 is attacked with the knight, with the bishop, and with the rook. And protected only by the king and the rook, so it's hard to find another defender now. Which means we should regain the material. That's the idea. And that's why this exchange on e5 is not dangerous. That's why immediate d4 is not dangerous. Okay, so let's just bring the king to e7. Feels like a good square. We can go to f6 after that, by the way. And rook to d1 check only moves one of the defenders of f2 away, which should make white's life harder here, I guess. Bishop e3, oh my god. Should be just lost really soon. Now let's just take the bishop. Check. Bishop g4 comes to mind. Attacking the rook, completing the development. We can also bring the rook to f2 if we need to. What we can do as well is just play something like bishop f2. Well, I don't know. Almost everything should be fine here. Rook f6 should win a pawn or something. After bishop f5 we just take. There are several interesting moves here. I don't know. Let's start with bishop f2. I don't think it's bad. Should we play bishop e2 now or just rook f6 first? I guess. Now let's just take it. And take again. Probably not the best way to win that pawn. But anyway, pawn is a pawn, right? Maybe I missed some play against that rook because white had weakened first rank. So maybe there were some, tactical stuff. I don't know. But this looks good enough for me. So right after the opening, we want a pawn. And already simplified the position, so now we have extra material in the ending. With the bishop against the knight, we have no weaknesses here. Everything looks just great. King is centralized, so we can support our passer with the king to e6 move, for example. Yeah, let's just simplify the position even more. I guess it's not bad. If king g2, then rook f2 wins the game. Against this move, I wanted to try simple king e6. So everything is controlled. c5 is controlled, d6 is controlled, g5 is controlled. The only thing which is not controlled right now is this d8 square. I'm wondering if it is important to have this square covered. Maybe to some extent, but I guess something straightforward like rook f3 and rook e3 should do. Yeah, let's just do it. If rook d8, then rook e3, that's what I'm trying to do. And then I gradually get to the second rank and start attacking all these guys, b2, a2, and so on. Okay, and in this case, we can do this further simplification. I guess this forces the exchange. Yeah, and that's what we need here, basically. Alright, what's the next move? King to d5. Then bishop to c1. And let's just grab some space here. Yeah. Okay, we won on time, but white's position was quite bad already after king e7 move. So basically after this knight at g4, black is completely fine. That's why this d4 and d takes c5 doesn't really give white what he or she wants. Okay, so it's not winning a pawn, as you may notice. It's basically just giving black this f-file, and yeah, black gets sufficient counterplay there. So what should be recommended here for white is just, you know, keep it simple and follow the plan. So instead of d4, just play h3, knight d2, rook e1, knight f1, just like in Ruy Lopez, and play d4 only after you are ready, when all the pieces are developed and coordinated the right way. Okay, let's have a look at the list of challenges. Do we have somebody else we never ever played before? I mean, even a single game. Yeah, here is Tom, 247, 3 minutes, accept. White pieces, let's go. And Sicilian. So I love playing Sicilian. It's usually very, very dynamic and fun. Hence, so of course it's risky for both sides, I would say. But that's the spirit of Sicilian. So both sides are taking risks, and the reward for it is just interest and dynamic play. What? Normally, you would do something like a6, right? I believe it shouldn't be good, because of simple capture on f6 and then knight d5, attack in c7 square. Also, it forces black to play g takes f6, because if bishop takes, then d6 drops. My god, what's going on here? Am I missing something, or my opponent is just blundering? It looks like extra pawn for nothing. And the king is forced to go away somewhere. No, I guess I'm not missing anything here. I'm just winning. So bishop to c4. Looks nice. Just attacking f7. Alright. That's why you usually play a6. To force my knight to a3, so that there is no problem with d6 pawn. There is no problem with c7 and stuff. Okay, let's grab it. Damaging the pawn structure. Now we can take on b7 if we want. Or what I really want to do is just a castle here. Preparing f4 maybe, opening the f-file against the king. I believe white has dozens of different methods to win this particular position. Because look, there is extra pawn no sufficient compensation for black. That bishop on f6 is terrible. Pawn structure is damaged. So knight takes b7 now, or what? So if knight takes on b7, there is queen d1, rook d1, rook b8, knight to c5, rook takes b2, then rook d7 check. There's probably some dynamic play which black wants here to compensate the missing material. So from a practical point of view, it's better to avoid it, because white doesn't need dynamic play anymore. White has absolutely clear advantage here. So what white wants here is just, you know, simple position with, you know, clear plan of conversion of this extra material. But now I say I'm misplayed it a bit, because you know what? Yeah, probably it was better to play something like a6 and b5. Why didn't I play knight to e3? You're maybe wondering, because of bishop g5. Just attacking my knight, and then it's hard to protect c2. Although in that case, it's possible to play something like rook to c1. Yeah, maybe I should have played knight to e3. Yeah, I'm playing this not the best way for sure. But now I'm fine. So I'm getting rid of black's only dangerous piece. That knight on a3 is bad, but it's not a big deal to improve it. It just takes 2 moves, I think, at max. Alright, so something like c3, let's say. Just typical stuff for Sveshnikov. And yeah, my opponent is also helping here. Alright, so nothing really to comment here. I was extremely lucky because my opponent made several critical mistakes, basically blundering most important pieces. So it was not so hard for me to win this game. Okay, so maybe we should slightly relocate our pieces. I want to control the D file to be able to easily put my king there to protect c3. Then I'm playing b4. So that was the idea behind it, to have it protected. Now we're just pushing our pawns. So c5, then probably king to c4, supporting c5, then b5, stuff like that. There may be a checkmate as well. Not sure. No, there won't be checkmate because king has this g6 square. All right. Then knight e3 was waste of time. It was better just to immediately go king c4, then b5, and so on. We can ignore that, I don't know, completely. Yeah, so a6 should be played right after d6 move and bishop to g5. You just play a6, attacking my knight, and then after knight to a3, you play b5, and then bishop e7 and stuff. All I've joined as well. Great. Happy to see you here, so maybe we'll have a chance to play. Have you challenged? I'm not. Yeah, there is a challenge from you. Nice. All right. Let's have a look if we have somebody else I've never ever played before. It will be the third game in this format, and then we'll just get back to normal order of challenges, playing one by one. So what happened? Where's accept? So I'm playing with black pieces in this game. Let's see, e4, e5, and probably no f4. I expected f4 like a Vienna game. d3 was played. So it starts looking like a Philidor reversed. But knight e5 is strange to me, because you know, now I have this perfect queen. It's not the same queen like in Scandinavian, for example. Because in Scandinavian, the queen may be attacked with the knight. Here my queen cannot be attacked with the knight, so the only piece that can attack my queen is this pawn, but when white plays something like c4, d4 becomes weakened. So it's not good from a strategic point of view, which means I just have a great centralized queen. Centralized queen is usually not worse than any other centralized piece, which means it's sort of advantage for me. Now it's indeed looking like Philidor reversed, but with lots of weaknesses. There's just lots of weaknesses in white's camp. For example, now I can take on d3 without problems. I can also put my knight on b4 first. I don't know, let's try it. I don't think it's bad. Yeah, just let's take this way. Probably immediate capture on d3 was just the easiest. I don't know. This looks also fine. It slightly helps white to, you know, complete the development. But I think we're still having amazing position here. Now let's just bring the bishop to c5 to have it on d4. Oops. Whew. Thanks God there is nothing like a bishop g4, because I didn't consider that at all. Stupid me. That was close, actually. Okay, e4 now. Tricky. Tricky. And probably good for white. Okay, let's just grab that one. And put the queen where it should be placed to be protected. I tricked myself here, so I misplayed it like an idiot. All right, so a bad game for me. It's not what I want. So rook d5 is coming. That's another thing I missed. Just g6 protecting my queen, but then rook d5 again, then rook e5, and I lose the pawn. No, I don't want it. God damn it. Okay, let's play this move then. It's really bad the way I play this game. Was absolutely winning. Now it's not so clear. I believe black should be still slightly better, but material is balanced at least. After bishop takes h5. Yeah, shit happens. Okay, I think I can put my rook on e5 now with a tempo. Then play something like e3 maybe. So my idea is just to continue with the direct attack against opponent's king. Since we have opposite colored bishops, it's a very natural plan to attack opponent's king. That's what I want to do now. I hope I'm not blundering something terrible. It feels like everything is under control, more or less. Let's wait. Okay, let's just take that pawn. And rook e1 is unfortunately not a checkmate. Takes. Queen f2, king d1. No, there is nothing there. So it would be nice to have something like bishop b4 followed by rook e1, but I don't think it works now because of queen d8 checkmate. So bishop d6 probably should be played, although it moves my bishop away from f2 pawn. I don't really like it. I guess it should be fine long term. Okay, what's going on here? Queen is going to get to g8, I think. Then after king d7, there is no follow-up So probably we can do this move, right? Yeah. So queen g8, king d7, and after queen e3 we have a threat of queen e1. I guess it should work. Should work somehow. Yeah. Queen e2 is also a threat. So now I think it's winning. Finally. was a terrible game. I mean, I had absolutely winning position right from the start, but then terribly misplayed it like a complete patzer. So this knight to b4 was probably the start of unnecessary complications. Just take that pawn on d3, simplify the things, and win the game. Instead, I decided to play knight b4, where after position became not so clear. Not good. Oh, it was still winning, but I should have played, you know, accurate moves. So I think it's time to resign for my opponent, I believe. It's really lost now. So what's going on? Carly. Am I still online? Yeah, I am. Every time when something like this is happening, I'm kind of a bit nervous. I'm not sure. Is it me and my terrible connection, or it's just my opponents not making a move? Alright, so no checks. Except for rook takes d6, but it's the last one. Okay, queen d7, queen c7. We don't count them. No sensible checks, I wanted to say. Which means it's indeed time to resign. Alright, so check from here. Promotion with double check and probably a checkmate, right? So if king g2, f1. And doesn't matter queen or rook, it's a checkmate. So bishop controls g3 square as well. Okay, so what I've done wrong in this game was this knight b4 followed by a bunch of stupid moves. Instead, just bishop takes d3 guarantees absolutely clear and probably decisive advantage with extra pawn and stuff. And what white made wrong, so it is possible to play reversed Philidor, no questions. So if you want, you can do it. There's nothing wrong in it. I mean, it's slightly passive, probably not very sensible, not very ambitious, but absolutely playable. The thing is, don't take on d5. So this is a mistake because you give me a centralized queen that you can attack only with c4, and you see what happens if you play c4. You weaken d4 and you weaken d3 pawn, which is not good for you. So instead of taking on d5, well, I think this is absolutely playable. So it's pretty much like an torsion system reversed, but with extra tempo for white. Another question is, do you really need the knight on c3? Because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that great. Probably it's better to have the pawn there to support b4, a4 stuff. So maybe if you want to play Philidor reversed, you may start with this slightly ugly looking d3, but that is exactly what you get if you want a Philidor reversed, right? So just start with this move. All right. Thanks for the game. Now normal order of challenges, and Blunder Panda is the next. e4 c5. Did we play this yesterday like that? No, I think I was playing with black pieces. Might be wrong. Never mind. Sicilian again, and Najdorf this time. Bishop e7, okay, bishop e3. Main lines of this bishop e2, at least. Alright. Yeah, let me remember how to play this. Queen d2 shouldn't be bad. And b5. Well, that's interesting because this weekend c6 already. And I can probably just use it right away. Knight a5. The only thing we have to check is knight to e4, but then queen to b4 is possible. So I think it makes sense just to go to c6 right away. If knight takes d5, trying to deflect my queen, then knight to c6, intermediate move, attacking queen, and then queen takes d5. Right? Or not? Or I'm blundering something. Yeah, knight d5 should be somehow better calculated. I'm not sure that after knight c6 everything is so good for white. But anyway. So now, knight goes to c6. Queen goes to c7. Then we can even take on e7 if we want, forcing king takes e7. I'm not sure if we are getting exactly what we wanted here. What I underestimated is the problem with the d5 pawn. That's slightly annoying. Yeah, probably knight a5 was a bit premature. Maybe a4 was a better move, but who knows? It's no longer that clear. So let's just do something like this, which is terrible to give up a bishop like that. But we get some edge anyway. A bit more, you know, a bit more pleasant position. Hard to say. Anyway, let's focus on the game. So everything we have here is some play on light squares. That's what I'm trying to do here. Just to, you know, get some initiative on light squares. Maybe I'm doing bad here. Yeah, that's clearly not the best way to play it. But we have two connected passers, and one of them becomes a queen right now. So I think it's good for white. Just go away from here. Nasty rook, and this pawn should run up to promotion square. Oops, what's that? Just take it. Okay, it's over. So, what's going on here? What happened? So basically, we won the game on light squares, which was a bit surprising. Because I thought I have already misplayed it after I captured the knight on b6. Yeah, but we still had some play, right? So this a4. Now I start thinking that maybe a5 was a wrong move in general, so probably this a4 was the best one. So immediately attacking the b5, which is actually a target right after it's appeared in this square. Since black no longer has a light squared bishop, anything like b5 is, you know, sort of dangerous from a strategic point of view, because I can easily undermine such a pawn, you know, exposing lots of light squares, and my bishop is here to attack them. So something like this is amazing for white, because we get a direct access to this a6 pawn, and yeah, there is something like a5. We can take it. If black just protects it, we castle and bring another piece, another rook to the a file. So there is still this knight a5, knight c6 maneuver, so it's possible at any moment. So there was no need in rushing the things like I did, I guess. And I have a feeling that after a4, there is no such a clear play against d5, although I can see this knight b6 again. So, but let's have a look at the difference now. If I want, I can do something like rook to a5, so I don't have to give up my dark squared bishop in this particular case. If knight takes d5, then rook takes d5, so d5 is protected. which means I keep my pair of bishops here and a better pawn structure. That was the right way to play it. And for black, instead of playing b5, it was important to avoid weakening light squares here. Instead, I believe rook to c8 is the right move. So you just prepare your play here on the queen side. Well, your task after this change of the pawn structure is actually to prevent me from active play like c4, c5. That's why you occupy the c file here. Whenever my pawn is on c4, you can try attacking it like knight b6 or something. Your idea is just to castle at the right moment, then bring the knight somewhere, and then play f5, f4, this stuff. Okay, next one, Chess Beast Austria, accept the challenge. Here we go. White pieces again, e4. c5, knight goes to f3. g6, okay. So accelerated dragon, let's try queen d4. I mean, it's definitely a sideline. I'm just wondering if my opponent knows the lines here. Doesn't feel like that. So d6 is the right move. Because now the knight is forced to an awful position. If knight h5, it's just being trapped immediately. If knight goes back to g8, well, it's the knight on g8, which is bad as well. And now e6, my god. My dear lord, it should be just winning instantly after something like knight to e4, I have a feeling. Let's just, yeah, play it. Bring the knight to this hole on d6. So sometimes it's really simple. Because, you know, the move weakens something specific and you're just using it. The same applies to you not making moves like e6. Just, you know, ask yourself what's going on. What is happening in that case? What is being weakened? And you will easily avoid mistakes like that. What's interesting, even this position is not completely lost. So there are still some chances, which is amazing. It just shows us the, you know, the potential that chess has. So never give up is another lesson here. Even such a bad position can be still playable for some reason. I don't know why it's playable, but it is. Actually, maybe because I'm not converting the things the right way. Okay, now back to c6. So probably we can play this move now. Just stopping black from playing knight to f5. That's interesting. Mikhail says that there are 3,700 international masters worldwide. I'm just wondering what kind of rating they have, because if you go to my profile on FIDE, you will see that I am within the 2,100 or 200 players worldwide, including grandmasters, of course, including the top 100. So just within 2,200. And if we talk about active players, that I'm within 2,000 players. So something like 1,900 something. So this international master should have just shitty rating, I think. Lots of them. If there are 3,700, as you say, which is, yeah, a surprising fact. Okay, bishop f4, protecting e5. This knight is super poor, right? Just moving like f6, g8, h6, back to g8, having no good place at all on the board. That bishop on c8 is also quite bad. You know what? We can even play g5 now, stopping black from various things. I'm wondering, do we need it? Let's just bring the bishop to b5 for now. All right. Let's just grab that knight. I mean, it's very close to complete Zugzwang. Let's play g5. I like this position. Look at this. Like a prison for a bishop. g7. What black is going to do here? I'm not sure. Let's just double rooks along the d file and checkmate that king. Or win a pawn d7, I don't know. We should do it somehow. I have no idea. Let's just continue with the plan. Probably rook d2 is a bit more accurate here. But I don't know. In this position you have, so many different possibilities. So many different options to win. For example, now we can use the position of the rook to relocate our bishop to slightly more active position on c5, let's say. Isn't it nice to have the bishop on c5? Bishop b6 was also good, just to win that rook. As I said, there are dozens of different ways. I believe there are lots of very old international masters, so people that got the title at some point and now having the rating like 2,200s or something, which is no longer like a good international master. The same is true for grandmasters. There are lots of grandmasters that are way below 2,500s, which is the requirement to become a grandmaster. Some of them are way below 2,400s even, which is worse than international master base level. So, yeah, but it happens. You get older, you start playing much worse. It's understandable. Yeah, so very simple to understand what happened in this game. So d6 instead of bishop g7 is the right move to control e5 and prevent these terrible things happening to the knight after e5. All right. The next one is Zurian. All right. That's a real challenge. And there will be Sicilian, I believe, again. No Sicilians this time. What? This way? Probably there will be some sort of transposition to some transposition to a looking defense, right? Yeah, I think so. There should be. But the difference is that we can start with this move instead of playing knight f3. So in a lurking defense, if you play knight f3 line, you just put the knight on f3. And then to play f4, you need to move the knight somewhere. Here, as you can see, I played f4 first and then knight to f3. So I think it's an improvement for white, not for black. So, I like my position. I like my position. Now let's just get rid of that bishop immediately. Or clarify the things. I mean, where it goes. Now we have pair of bishops. Okay, so here I wanted just to play c3 to control d4 square. It's important. And now we take this way, right? To attack f7. Makes sense to me, unless I'm blundering something. Now there are lots of weaknesses in black's camp. I think white's position is already strategically winning Because to cover all these dark squared weaknesses, black has to play something like f6 or f5, but this drops e6 pawn. Or makes it a serious weakness. Otherwise, I just move my knight to e4, then bishop to g5, then land on f6 at some point. Should I even keep that bishop now in this new reality? Because if I move my bishop to c2, there is f6 or f5. In which case, I'm still better having this pressure on e6. But isn't it better for me just to play knight e4 here? To control f6, I'm not sure. So this is one of these moments where, you know, both ways look equally good, and it's really hard to make a decision. So in this case, I prevent f6, I believe. But I lose my light squared bishop if black captures it. After bishop c2, I keep pair of bishops, but black may play f6 or f5 before I manage to play knight to e4. So, I don't know. To me, right now, it feels like, you know, controlling f6, preventing black from playing it is a bit more important than having my light squared bishop on the board. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Okay, so MGTOW actually collected the stats. So I'm number 1716 worldwide active players and 2438 all players. Yeah, shitty thing. I was much higher at some point. I was 1800 active players worldwide because I had just, you know, 500, like 50 points more. If we're talking about the rating points. And yeah, at this point, I mean, when you reach 2400s, like every 10 points can significantly improve your ranking worldwide. So for example, like 10 years ago or something, having a rating of 2530 or 40 or 50, I don't remember exactly, but something like, you know, between 25 and 2600s somewhere, was equal pretty much to be like within 300 or 400 worldwide or something. So just an average grandmaster, I would say, it's like top 300 or something. All right, now bishop e7 wins the exchange and I think the game, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, there are probably different ways to play this position, but this one looks pretty simple to me and just good enough. So we still control the things, and if rook goes away, we just take on f7. What's interesting, I didn't do anything specific in this game, so black did everything himself. So opened the f-file, weakened f6 square, made this f7 pawn a backward one. All I needed to do was just to attack it. That's it. It's over now. This or that way. Of course, black may keep on playing it, but it shouldn't help, I believe. It shouldn't help much. So extra exchange now. f7 should drop, I guess. Let's say, I don't know, g5 looks like a safer square. Then d6 because of some tactics like bishop e5, or, well, maybe it didn't work, but I don't think I have to spend time on calculating that if we have another square which deprives black of these tactics and still attacks f7 and b7. So basically same idea, like after knight d6, but without calculating unnecessary tactics. Knight takes f7 or queen takes f7. I don't know which one is better. Or maybe even queen takes b7. Everything looks just great here. I mean, let's take that pawn. It looks a bit greedy, but we still attack f7, so we can still take it if we want. a7 is also under attack. And knight takes e6, it's another threat now, since rook controls the f-file. Okay, so what to say? I mean, if you want to get the position from the Elohim defense, it's better just to play Elohim defense, alright? Because in that case, that is what I was talking about in the opening stage. As you may notice, we have very similar stuff, but I didn't play f4, right? Just like knight g5, e6, but, well, here if f4, in many cases there is a chance to simplify this stuff. It's hard to say which version is better for white, but I have a feeling that it's a bit more, you know, flexible for white. White doesn't have to jump to g5 to play f4, for example, to support e5, if we talk about our game, right? So now I have a choice. I may jump to g5, I may not. So I think that's why it's an improved version for white. And I really don't like this idea of giving up the light squared bishop in this case. Yeah. I understand that it's hard to find a good square for it, but you can just play e6, keep that bishop on the board, and that bishop will be just a typical French bishop, but it will keep some important light squares. Because in this case, I mean, position is so, you know, terrible for black, honestly. I mean, you don't have space, you don't control squares, you don't have targets here, nothing, absolutely. So, I mean, no surprises, I easily won it. Even if you don't help me and don't take on e5, don't play e6 and just keep it closed, it's one-sided. There is no counterplay, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, let's continue. Let us continue. The next one is, sorry, I have to decline one challenge from non-premium. And the next one is Lanthir from Serbia. We haven't never ever played. Interesting. And the next one will be Friedel. Have not played for ages. Have not played for ages. Let's go. And Najdorf again. Let's try to play it better. So bishop e6 is not considered the best move here because of f4. So bishop e7 is a correct order of moves. And now we have a simple pressure on black's position. And obviously we're going to castle long here. So it's hard for black to continue the development. Because now my queen attacks g7. Knight h5 is not possible. So this bishop on e2, which usually looks a bit passive, is in fact playing a very important role in this situation. So I like it there. Okay. So probably we will start with... Should we play bishop g5 here or just bishop e3? I don't know. Let's just step back to e3. And then castle on, and then we'll see what's going on there. Okay, so black is actually making very interesting moves here. So if I castle now, there is rook takes c3 sacrifice possible. Alright, so what should I do? Maybe just castling short, it's also an option. It's always an option. Or maybe just h4, because premature sacrifice there won't be that dangerous for me, I believe. Yeah, I guess we'll start with this move. I'm not in a rush to castle here. I can castle any side at any moment. So let's just attack the knight. Alright. Now queen g7 is not clear because of rook g8. And then my queen maybe even trapped there. So let's forget about that. But can I castle now? If I now castle and rook c3, bc3, knight e4 comes, then I can take on g7. But there is this bishop f6 move. Also not so clear. All right. What else? We can come back with the knight to d4 now. Yeah, this looks pretty good for me. Let's do it. Looks like a good attacking position for white. But black also has some tricks. And it is usually not happening if black simply plays bishop e7, not bishop e6, because white doesn't have this plan with f4 and this rapid relocation of the queen through d3 to g3 and stuff. Okay, queen a5, clearly attacking e4. It's very tempting now just to grab this bishop on the e6. Now, okay, I prefer the developed pieces, so let's just castle short, finally. Rook takes there, okay. So, extra exchange, but black obviously has something here. Some compensation. Should I take on the e6 now? Not sure about that. Yeah, I mean, let's do it. Why not? Okay, so now my main problem is that my queen is not protected. That's why there is this pin. Annoying one, to be honest. Yeah, so maybe we should just have my queen protected. At the same time attacking e6. Yeah, I think it makes sense, this queen h3. The position is unclear. So black has some material compensation for missing exchange, but at the same time white has pair of bishops. The position is pretty much open, especially if black takes on e4 or something. What else? King is still on e8, which may be a problem, maybe not. Hard to say for now. It's not so simple to break through, of course, but we can try it. So what if we just play rook f2 now? Just want to bring another rook to... Oh shit, I just blundered my rook on a1. Terrible. That's terrible. Oh, yeah, that's terrible. Okay, I just blundered the rook on a1. That's super stupid. What's interesting, I wanted to play rook a to b1 first to attack b7, but then decided to double rooks. Alright. Okay. That's amazing. How you can just spoil everything in one move. Fantastic. Idiotic decision. Okay, so let's try to do something here. Just, yeah, complete patter. Andrey Ostrovskiy. Where is your stats? Make tell. Now that was the idea, just to, you know, to play h6, then to attack f6, but having both rooks on the board, not only one. My god, I'm so stupid. Sorry, guys. That's really, like, complete bullshit. Yeah, let's bring the bishop there. Oh, my lord. Just imagine my rook is still on the board. It's absolutely lost position for black, but my rook is gone, so we can forget about it. But we have some threats, right? We still have a chance to, you know, win on time or something. Queen a3, what's going on? Alright, so if I take on g6, pawn takes, and then I take on h8, then queen takes on e3. Understood. So let's bring the bishop to g5. Then queen c5 check. King goes to h1. Or maybe it's better for us just to play rook to f3 here. I don't know. What about this? Alright, let's play bishop g5. Let's play on time then. That's our only chance here anyway. Okay. I think we're winning already. It's just lost for black now. Extra rook. Now it's important not to blunder this one. Because I have blundered one already. It's important not to blunder another rook. Would be just a complete disaster or something. I don't know. Okay. Alright. A very strange game. So black played like a god to some extent, but then started playing really super potserish chess. I don't know what happened, but okay, I lost my rook, so who am I to judge here, right? Okay, I won. That's fantastic. Rook f2 is probably one of my worst moves in the entire career. Like, simply blundering the rook on a1. This is so stupid. Holy crap. Okay, yeah. I'm really happy that I finally won the game. Yeah, this one was... Everything was, like, super interesting, to be honest, because it was unclear completely. For example, even here, if knight takes e4, it's unclear. Although I believe that white should be anyway slightly better, but I was not sure during the game. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and then I played rook f2. So after king f7, I think white is already better. So the correct move is just to play rook to b1. Let's say creating sort of rook b7, and then the same plan. So just doubling rooks along the f file, combining it with the h6, and just playing to you know, to pin that knight and to win that knight, like somebody mentioned on chat. But okay, never mind. Happens sometimes to anyone. Okay, Friedel. This is now really dangerous, because if I play the same way like against the previous game, but previous guy, I'll be just busted easily. Okay, here is a cat from the clock I mentioned yesterday. Wow, 4 times. Oh my god. That's fantastic. I think you heard it. Okay, knight to d7. Let's just play g4. I have no idea. I'm just a big fan of playing bishop b2 first, like signaling that I'm not going to play aggressive chess, and then whenever black does something, I just, okay, let's go all in. Which is, yeah, slightly stupid, but interesting to play. And let's just bring all the guys to the attack. Clock? Yes, it is the clock. I was talking about it yesterday. That is the room of my kids. And here we have a clock which produces sounds of different animals each and every hour. Do you remember that great times when there were some lines where the knight was even sacrificed on f5? Polgar played it, but not exactly this position, but something similar. Okay, I'm not Polgar, so I'll just step back. And now just f5, right? Yeah, looks good. Let's grab some space. The cat. But it's completely broken because it should have been duck, not the cat. Let me win says cat in the show, more viewers. Yes. Because cats are amazing, right? Interesting. Who's gonna win this? I'm not sure. Let's just keep on playing that. The only way to justify that g4 is just to play g5 at some point, right? I'm not sure knight e4 is a good idea. This pawn will be lost, I believe. So f5 is heading right now. We can just come back with knight to g3, attacking e4 and protecting f5. Knight to d5. All right, what's going on? We can grab the pawn. That is what's going on. And we can keep position quite safe after c3. Just preventing knight to b4. And here I just wanted to play f6. And then bishop to f3, improving the position. So now we have extra pawn. Pretty good chances to win. The thing is to play a bit faster because we're already in a time trouble. Okay, what about this move? Now attacking from the other side, or at least trying to attack from the other side. Now let's play c4 and b3. Just keeping everything under control for now. The only problem is this b3 pawn, but I think it's not a big deal after all. Okay, let's simplify this stuff. And convert the advantage. So what's going on here? We have only 37 seconds. Our opponent has a bit more. All in all, it should be sort of equal. All right. Yeah, that's a bad idea. All right. Oh, my lord. Not sure if Black is doing the right thing here, but it's hard, really, when you have only a few seconds to play good chess. Now it's over. Now it's over for Black, positionally and on time. Alright. Yeah, interesting game. I think Black made a mistake playing this knight to e4 move. That was clearly a great help. I mean, much earlier here. Yeah, I don't think it was correct. On the other hand, where to go? Like, Probably there is no way for black to play something like d4 because I can take on f6, but maybe it could have been done as a sacrifice, like d4. Let's say g takes f6, bishop takes f6. Maybe then you don't need to play d4. Maybe something like bishop takes f5 deserved attention. Yeah, I guess that was interesting. After g takes f6, bishop takes f6. So you have sacrificed the minor piece for 2 pawns. These 2 pawns are here in the center. Look at them. They're great. You have this d4 threat. My knight is on h1. Just piece of crap. There is this threat of bishop to h4 check, leaving me without castling or something really close to it. I think that was the great way for you to play. Look at this. Amazing, right? You definitely have compensation here, I believe. Without any deep analysis, it's actually obvious that black is doing great here. Yeah, and knight e4, well, just makes black's position pretty sad, in my opinion. Okay, thanks a lot for this experience. Onam is the next, so let's accept the challenge. Again, I'm playing with white pieces. What's going on here, huh? Feels like only white pieces. I mean, I'm happy to have white pieces here, but it's probably not very fair. Huh, who cares? I like white pieces. So, Benoni reversed. Let's see, or maybe Volga. What about b4? Just knight takes b4, right? Makes no sense. So let's play e3. Undermining d4 and trying to get the Benoni reversed pawn structure. Modern Benoni reversed pawn structure. Lots of words. Okay, let's take it. And here we have it. Maybe even knight takes c5 was possible. I don't know. Let me remember. So what is... That is what I'm usually doing with black. This maneuver. Preparing b4. Or bishop to a3. Trying to get rid of one pair of minor pieces. Because if we have 3 minor pieces on the board, we have place for each and every one. If we have all 4, usually it's a problem to find a, good position for every minor piece. That's what I've learned many years ago. So it's a strategic idea number 1, to get rid of at least one minor piece. Which makes sense because in Benoni you have not so much space. That's why there is a problem with coordination, and that's why exchanging material becomes pretty understandable strategy. All right. So now we have a better development. We have some play against e5. Potentially this play based on b4, but position is slightly weakened now, so we have to be very careful here. For instance, after knight c5, black wants to do something like bishop f5. Very simple, yet very efficient. And I can't really play b4. Maybe I have misplayed it already. Maybe. I don't know. What can go wrong here? Should we play queen to c2? There is knight to b4. It's definitely a bad move. If we play something like knight to c2, there will be rook takes a1. Crap, it looks terrible. Yeah, black is better. I forgot about dark squares here completely. It's a nice lesson coming from Onam. Don't know what to play here. So it's something like knight to e1 breaks my coordination, but it helps me protect the at d3. So bishop f5 is no longer that dangerous, and it may also help me with further maneuvering. I don't know. It looks terrible, but I think I have to do this. Because without playing b4, it will be impossible for me to proceed to coordinate my pieces again. Yeah, so probably this bishop a3 and capture was not correct. Or at least I should have captured with the knight and came back to b2. Or maybe, again, another idea how to improve this, not to play a3 at so early stage. Okay, now jumps to b4. Can we get rid of it somehow easily? I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's possible. I don't want to do something really terrible like knight c2, rook a1, and knight takes a1, but I think I have to. which looks just so bad. But I have to do that. And now, somehow, I should play knight to c2 at some point, but look at this position. I'm just completely destroyed. I mean, only miracle will help me survive it. I'm not only, you know, I'm just completely depressed here. I no longer think of winning the game. I'm thinking of just surviving it. It will be just an amazing result. God. e4. Okay, maybe also a possibility. I'm not sure that it was needed, actually. But probably it's also not bad. But this actually gives me at least some hopes, because now I have some material which may theoretically compensate to some extent this shitty position I have. But no, I think it's still just lost for white. Oh, that's the worst game. I mean, it's even worse than losing that rook on a1, right? So that was just a blunder. Okay, it's understandable. But this was just a super bad play. Oh, God. Embarrassing. Gosh, so bad, huh? Maybe my opponent will just spoil it because of the time trouble. I don't know. Yeah, but simple queen b6. What is my next useful move here? That's a good question. I think just e5. I don't see anything better than that. Yeah, rook there. We should think, you know, a little in this position. So something like knight to f3. Okay, the next slight improvement of the position. That knight on a1 is just dead. We should forget about it. We should think about the things we can improve in this case. Queen g5, tempo move with the idea of knight e2. So now, not my queen, but my knight will blockade that pawn d3, which is really dangerous. Knight to c6. Okay, so what to do now? f4, f5, or bishop takes c6 first, and then b4. Yeah, I think this is possible now because the rook on d8 is hanging and queen is overloaded, which means I'm making progress here. So b4 is possible. So if queen b4, then queen d8. But knight e6, yeah, it was not possible anyway. Knight e6 and then queen takes b4. Yeah, black made a lot of unnecessary moves, I think. For example, e4 was absolutely not needed. This position is great already. I think just simple bishop f5 is winning easily. Like, what to do? d3 is hanging. It's attacked thrice. Bishop, one knight, another knight. Just a perfect position for black. And, you know, a simple punishment for white's stupid play. So now knight d3 or another knight to d3 is coming. There is nothing hanging in black's camp. There is no weakness whatsoever. So it's just completely lost, right? For white. I don't see a good move. One knight to c2. Okay. Another knight to c2 doesn't make a difference. You just take on d3 and win the game. So e4 was probably the first step in the wrong direction. Was absolutely not needed, alright? You had this simple bishop f5, winning the pawn, not sacrificing anything. In general, remember, so you don't have to sacrifice anything if you already have a, you know, serious advantage. Well, maybe sometimes this sacrifice will be the shortest way to win, but in general, Sacrifice is not what you want when you are already much better. So there's definitely something simple that you can try. All right. So let us continue. Oh my lord, each and every game is just worse than the previous one. That's a bad sign. Okay, Ravi is next. Accept. Right, so maybe there will be a chance to play against Olaf, but I'm not sure. Probably we don't have enough time to die. But nevertheless, like, you know, it was a great pleasure to have you on the show, watching it. So Mixal is just, you know, trolling me now. Great knight from Andrey on A1. Yes, fantastic knight. The only purpose is just to protect B3 pawn. Dear Lord. Probably it was the first time in my life even that I played with, you know, such a bad knight on A1. It's really embarrassing. Okay, so what's going on here? Let's just play D4. So we started with some ready stuff, but now starts looking like failed Chigorin defense or something. Okay, I think just 95, right? Makes sense to me. Fuck. I'm just blundering again. D4 was possible to capture. My lord. Yeah, it's really good idea now just to finish the show, because as you can see the quality is decreasing. And there are not like incremental steps, there are giant steps. Each and every game is worse and worse and worse and worse. Oh dear, 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 dear Lord. Lanfear says, I'm about 2200s on Lee Chess, don't beat yourself up so much. It's not about your rating, Lanfear, it's about me just blundering the rook on A1. Like a complete patzer. You didn't force me to actually blunder the rook in one move, right? So knight to c4 probably, or knight takes d7, I don't know. What is the right way to play this? Sometimes you can play some like f4 here, as far as I remember. It's also an interesting way to do it. e4 can be considered. A bishop to g5 looks also interesting to me. Now let's try bishop g5. Now we can damage pawn structure by just taking an f6, right? Because if queen f6, then knight d7, so g takes f6 will be forced. The question is it really good for me? Or it's just oversimplifying the position? I'm not sure. I will start with this move, because I believe it won't go away. And then we will see. We have some nice pressure on black's camp here, on black's position, so I don't think we should hurry up with some decisions significantly changing the position. For example, what about just playing queen c2, attacking c7 here? Then rook f to d1 or something. Well, it depends on what black is going to do now, because if c6, we can play rook d1, we can play e4, we can try various things. So it's like good version of Catalan, right? Looks like that. So what if just bishop f4? You know, creating various threats. If knight e5, we just play bishop d2, then we can play e4 with the tempo. The bishop on d7 is quite bad. And it's definitely misplaced for Catalan stuff, I would say. But we shouldn't be that happy with our position here. Not yet, because black still has chances like rook c8 and then c5 and stuff. Rook to a8. I would have placed it on c8, to be honest, because it makes sense to me. Alright, now queen to b3 attacking b7, since black decided to just go away to a8. After rook to c8, it was also possible, though. Alright, this is super passive. I don't think it's correct, but passive doesn't mean lost, right? So we still have to do a lot of things to prove we're better here. Say now, we should go away with the bishop. Let's just play e4. Increasing pressure. And come back to e3, I guess it's okay. As I said, it's just an improved version of Catalan. We have an amazing pressure on black's position. We control the center. Black doesn't seem to have clear counterplay here, which means white should have an advantage here. The question from Samadin, why then he ignores his compatriot? You're not my compatriot because I'm from Ukraine, to start with. Second, it is an English-spoken stream, so I don't get people that come to English-spoken stream and seeing the streamer which potentially knows Russian start to communicate with this streamer in this language, completely ignoring other people that actually speak English or at least understand English. So that's why I am simply ignoring these comments. It's logical to ignore these comments. That's the thing. It's just the same like, you know, a Russian stream or Russian spoken stream to be more specific, and somebody comes and starts speaking, I have no idea, Georgian or Serbian or I don't know, German. Strange, isn't it? Just because he thinks that the streamer knows this language. Okay, so I lost some seconds, some valuable seconds actually on this discussion. But anyway, let's focus on the game now. It's hard to break through here. As I said before, passive doesn't mean lost. Let's try to actually do something based on our slight advantage in development. Maybe we're just helping our opponent here, but what we have achieved right now is actually the opening of the h1a8 diagonal, which is extremely important in Catalan, and that is basically what white wants to do, right? So just go away controlling this stuff. Maybe rook e1 was the right move. I don't know. Just wanted to go away with the bishop because, in my opinion, its position was slightly vulnerable. So now we have some chances because of the back rank, I guess. Maybe we don't. Let's jump to a5. Attacking the bishop on c7 and the pawn on b7 at the same time. Also creating a threat of something like queen to c5 or bishop to c5. And we have some advantage in time now. All right, a blunder. Hard to criticize black here. I was expected. Because black is under the time pressure as well as white. Here, okay, what is the right move? I don't know. Okay. "12 seconds on the clock." Really hard stuff. But we nailed it. Okay, that was really, really hard stuff. And in general, I mean, the quality of my chess extremely decreased in the second part of the show. Sorry for that. But I think it's a good comeback after several weeks of silence. So yesterday, at least, was a perfect show in my opinion. Today it was much more challenging because I played a better opposition. Nevertheless, I hope you learned something, and next week we're going to continue. Not sure yet which days will be picked for my shows. Probably it will be just a weekend, maybe, I don't know, some weekdays. Whatever the schedule is, I hope we'll have time, I mean both you and me, to continue with this nice journey. Alright, have a nice weekend and see you guys. Bye bye.